Good morning, everybody. Well, you can see on the right here as to what's moving. The markets are still sleepy from the weekend. Just waiting for news as to what's going to happen with the war, like it's been going on for years already, and didn't really affect the markets very much, other than maybe on a day-to-day basis. But why you don't change the caption? I'm doing well. Why you didn't change the caption? I don't know what that means. Maybe type it there. Anyway, let me continue. So, title sheet. It was. I know. I don't know why he's asking that. Anyway. Anyway. So the end of last week, we had that move up on Tuesday, and it looked like we were ready to blast off higher, and the markets just went into a coma, and they're still in a coma here. Maybe that was just because of options expiration and things just flattened out and went nowhere. Maybe it's just summer doldrums. In any event, it was just this sideways chop, which has now created a trading range here. It's at the bottom of the trading range. So do we stay in the bottom of the trading range? Does it back to the top? Does it break down? Right? That's no one can answer other than there's buyers down here and there's sellers up there. We'll see where it's going to be going. I didn't update the one on YouTube. That's interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. All right. All right. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So pretty much across the board, we've got this from last week, this sideways stuff, but it made a new high, which is great. Now, one of the concepts that we often talk about is slowing momentum. And momentum is slowed, obviously, but it made a new high. And so another way of looking at this and saying, okay, the trend is up, higher highs, higher and lows. We've got a weekly red bar ignored, which is positive. And so the assumption is the market will keep going up until it stops doing that. And we've got a significant support area. And so what I'm explaining here is applied to whatever we look at. So as we look at other things, things can be different. Major support, took out the high, minor support, consolidating at the sideways range. Looks good. Qs exceeded the high, kind of drifting down. Doesn't have so much of a sideways trading range, more of a just downward sloping, lower highs, lower lows above a significant support area. So not much to do there. So last week we were looking for the Dow and the Russell and hopefully the transports, which had a sell setup that wound up failing, it happens, to bring up the rear. And they did. So, YM took off at resistance now. We know there's going to be sellers when we look to the left, and it was. And so far, it's consolidating at resistance. That's bullish. Big red bar ignored. That's bullish. So as we go into this week, the question, we're looking at the futures here, but we can look at the Dow. Can we get new all-time highs? Which I would assume yes, because the trends are up. Let's just look at the Dow for a moment. So pushed up above that resistance area. You can see over there to the left, it's right at those pivot highs. But one of the things that we review in MT Lives is, of course, candlestick patterns and different patterns. And one of the things is, call it what you want, right? It's bullish. Now, it wasn't bullish when it was a big red bar, but it retraced all the way back up again. That's bullish. So far, we have bullish bias on all the things we're looking at. The Russell, we got whipsawed on this, right? Not really, not a loss, but we had the breakout and we were looking for it to go higher, and it came all the way back down again. violated support, reversed back up again. So I've used the term in the past, schizophrenic, lately bipolar. And it's like, what's going on here? War, tariffs, Trump comments, what have you. And the market kind of walking on eggshells. So now it broke out, and we've got this little drifting down bullish. Looks like it can go higher. Weekly time frame reversed up. So again, another vote for higher until proven otherwise. Now, well, let's look at Bitcoin for a minute. More of the same. Well, bullish weekly, but it was rejected up here. Really not a big deal yet, because the weekly is positive and kind of just consolidating. And while it got rejected on a closing basis, it's just going sideways. So as it comes down to support here, we always assume there's going to be buyers. And we wait to see, does it actually show up? And do we get a reversal bar here? And if we get a reversal bar there, another positive, waiting to be seen. Gold's not doing anything. We've been talking about this for months now. You can see it's just on the weekly chart, just not, it's consolidating, just waiting for whatever. It's not breaking down, waiting for the silver to load. There you go. More sideways in an uptrend, nothing to do there. Crude oil, it broke down through that major support area, more bipolar price action. Right? There was the nasty down move sideways. It takes out the highs. Okay, let's go higher. No, let's go all the way back down. And so if you're finding this market to be a little frustrating or difficult from different points, you can see why. I would say it's not you, it's not me, it's everybody. And it's just the uncertainty of what's been going on this year. I don't have to repeat it. All right. Interest rates. I made this page. I think it's a little cleaner, easier to look at than the old page. But, you know, for months we've been talking about the big trading range, right? The big trading range and the little trading range, and back to the bottom of the little trading range. And so more bipolar price action. Oh, everything's great. They're gonna cut. What is it, like almost 100% belief that it's gonna happen next month? And that's a concern. When almost 100% believe something's gonna happen, you got to be like, should I be thinking in the opposite of that? Well, you and I can think whatever we want, but we're going to see what the reality is. But it's something that we have to consider. So many are so certain that they're going to do it. And maybe they are, right? But, this was the move down. And now, just based on the economic news from last week, a little bit more of an inflation concern. So with that being the case, will they actually cut with the numbers that came out? I don't know. Will the political pressure force them to do it? It might. Maybe this guy Powell knows that he's getting kicked to the curb, and maybe he's like, screw it, I'm not doing it. Who knows? And now it dropped to 82%. All right. So I think last week, Robert, it was like over 90%. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So, more of, hey, I think, lower in a big way. And now I'm not so sure. And that's what the trading range is called. The 13-week is what we looked at for some guidance, and that was the big move down. As you can see here, it's at the bottom of this range there from April. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so as far as rotation, as we look around last week with all this bullish stuff going on, we see the software sector, which is a main leader, has this topping pattern. Well, topping patterns, have to prove themselves too. So that communicates distribution within that sector, but so far it's holding that support, or what we would call, or anybody would call, the neckline. If you can visualize this as a head and shoulders pattern, you know, call it just a wide trading range. Um, but it did make it a new high that retraced all the way back down again. So, will it break down and will it flip back up again? A lot of ifs, because that's why this market is bipolar. This was from the weekend, one of my videos. Let's get rid of that stuff. All right, so financials. And so with all the bullish stuff we looked at, overall, like one bar doesn't dictate much, but on Friday, that was a big, nasty down move. So was it options expiration? I mean, Goldman Sachs that we were talking about last week, and about here, but certainly in the green room, was breaking out. It looked great, right? Looked great. And while it hasn't negated it yet, I know, Bally, I use this new software to do the recording, and I don't know, I didn't show, it said it was working, but obviously it wasn't. So yeah, there was no voice there, so after making that video, and it was disappointing for sure. But here's Goldman breaks out. And so now there was this down bar on Friday. And so, you can see here, this little gray areas on the 65-minute chart shows overnight. So it's another instrument that isn't moving very much. But, it went up and it came back down. Does it break the lows? I don't know. If it flips back up again, right, what we call a bullish 180, if that flips back up again, that's a long, because this is a nice bullish consolidation within an uptrend. So, we'll see. Everything, this morning is, let's see what's going to happen next. Um, Again, regional banks down, that brought up the rear. That was another one that we wanted to see. Will the breadth expand? And what you can see over here, it actually did. So for over a month, we were discussing, hey, this breadth is terrible. If this market doesn't expand and some of these underperformers bring up the rear, at some point you think this has got to come back down. But things improved last week. Breadth expanded. Sentiment is still neutral. So if we can get some upside into the end of this month, these should come into alignment. And of course, that leads into September, historically the worst month of the year. And we're on above or just below 6,500 on SPX, and things have stalled here. I think as long as they stay above 6,400, give or take, you have to assume between 65 and 64 is noise. More noise, unfortunately. And yeah. On another positive note, biotech came down to the 50. Is it going to roll over? It spiked right back up again. So that looks good. But you can see it's into resistance, but we got a wide range bar. So there isn't too much that really looks, hey, this is so clean. It looks fantastic. But lots of improvement, fewer concerns. Mid caps brought up the rear. They're at the top of the range. And the bottom line is we need to see what's going to shape up here, at least, today and into tomorrow as this news comes out, whatever they're going to say, and then seeing how the market reacts to it. Somewhat of a concern. Volatility index is down near the bottom of the range. Right? Looked like it's heading higher. Nope, back down again. More bipolar price action. Transports, right? Had a nice looking sell set up there. Look back up with everything else. We'll see what it does this week. All right, spiders and SPX. Already looked at As the spiders always look at where they are. I know they're at the bottom of the trading range. Right? So going sideways there, the 3 days. And so even if this breaks down, it presents opportunities for intraday traders because this is a consolidation. It's holding here. If it violates this support, would assume it's going to go lower. So within the context of a bullish daily and weekly, which means don't get married to it. We're intraday traders, so we don't get married to anything, right? But it presents an opportunity for intraday traders on the short side. And lastly, SPX. And so before I started here, those were the strikes. This is below 6,400, which is good. It's far away. We know this is right here. That's too close, right? It's just way too close. But that being said, when I see something like that and I'm like, that's too close, that's usually where it doesn't go. And it tends to go down to this one, kind of that inverse logic of markets and human nature. But at least if it starts heading down below this support area, this strike goes lower and it should become a no-brainer. That being said, always the disclaimer, whatever Trump's going to say with the Ukrainian guy going there, probably not, we don't hear anything until the afternoon. So the morning probably going to be the best time once things get moving to find some opportunities and then stand aside. All yours, Dan.
I think it's going to be a slow morning here, and gapping down a little bit. Not many things moving, not many alarms going off. And it was more challenging finding quality things for the letters. But as always, we find things that are superior to the broader market indexes. So this wolf gapping up here another 10%. This was an earnings gap. Nothing to do now, but that that would have been a good one if it was not excessive on the gap. Duolingo alarm. Yeah, I think I heard on the news that Trump's meeting Zelensky and the Europeans at 3 o'clock today. And you know what I heard? That they're televising it again. I I personally disagree with that. I don't know. That's me. When they televise them ganging up on Zelensky the first time, I thought that was tacky as can be. All right, so this one we have a put spread over Thursday's high. It's gapping up here. Up alarm went off. It's a strange pattern. I had to kind of think about what to call this. It's not a buy setup, it's on a downtrend. So I just called it, retracement and reversal after igniting gap. So that's a Verizon igniting. My alarm went off, but let me reset it. BZ. This one, nice wide range igniting breakout, daily, weekly. Look at the monthly, it's a buy setup. So we're gonna we'll go 2 weeks out, buy some calls, mode, bottoming pattern gapped up on the news Friday with Buffett's news accumulating UNH. Look at the volume on that on Friday. They're gapping up here. CNC is another cousin. Looks good. I got pounded. So these are just nice little dead cat bounces. ELV, another one. That one I don't like as much. Just the way it came down so hard here. The other ones, I mean, it could go to the fifth one, but I think you have a bigger target on the others. from CMG. This is a beautiful turn after getting pounded. You got a downside shakeout, downside shakeout, then a gap, then a continuation bar, then a closing breakout. So that looks great for a bounce. Maybe to 46, 47, I don't know. Climb on the weekly. And we're traders, so we'll, 2 to 10 days. Ether, I mentioned this last week, it was getting climb on. So it's strong, but it's a climb up and a bearish turn. Let me tell them to wait 5-minute low if the gap's under it. That's just going to be a call spread. Low. And bull alarm. This looks good. And I got pounded from the IPO. That tail is real. This thing went to 78 bucks. Insane. Be good, maybe 30-minute high trade and also put spread. Those are all my alarms. These Stravos, that's about Titan. It's junk, it's junk. Greater than 100% retracement. It's up 4 bars. We can find better. Like that CMG was better, and some of those other ones I just showed you. If you want to trade it off the 15-minute chart for a day trade, but I can find better. And Ertawi, asking about Merck. Top of the range, don't like it. Nope. Again, same answer. We can find better. Now, it's a pattern. I would do a put spread under, like 81 right here at the 50 MA. But I can just tell you from experience, it's not going to be much premium. And Riley, it's sloppy. I mean, it's a sloppy 1, 2, 3, but it's up, 6 bars, far from the 20, far from the 50. It needs to settle down. If you gave me a couple, 2, 3 more inside bars that held above 650, that would be my recipe then to like it. Does that make sense? It's just, we always say in MT Lives and in Green Room and everywhere, how do you learn? How do you trade? Well, you take Greg's course, you get an objective understanding, and then it's the patience and discipline to follow your rules. And I often ask people, hey, rank it, rank the setup from 1 to 10. Do it yourself. And if you say, well, 6 or 4, it's like, well, then move on. Why do you want to mess with a 6 or a 4? All right, there weren't many earnings here. I think where are you? Yeah, like 3 of them here. And then I'll just go through whatever interest list I have. Bitter slopping around. I don't like things that trade with overlapping bars like that. Redskin slopping around. Now if it took out Friday's high, I would say put spread, but it's gapping down to 5. No, it's a bearish gap. Never mind. You're going CBAT. It's the cleanest of those 3, but again, ask rank the quality of this. I'd say a 5. So you're gone. So I got 0 earnings ideas. So let's just look at our interest list here in no order. XPON. Now that could be a day trade. I don't know what got this thing flying on Thursday, but look at the 15. The 15 using the pre-market data is very bullish. And it's not up that much. And look at the void. Let's put that over here and replace a bib. I'm talking about bib. Remember I mentioned that on Friday? See that. Now, hey, who was it? Tawi? I already lost the symbol. But when you said breakout, see how this one was a better breakout than whatever we reviewed a moment ago? I said top Merc, top of the range. Because this one broke out daily, weekly. All right, what time? Wow. I forget if this was earnings or not, but it's also a bio. No, it's capping up, nothing to do. Oh, these were some these are some of our opens that I just had here. All right, Zeta looks great to add. We're already in it from this first buy setup, but now we have a retest with a wide range bar closing breakout for the week, bullish weekly. So that is one of the best looking ones right there. Opening fairly flat and a big base. So that's the best looking long I've seen so far, which isn't saying a whole lot. A bat, we're in trail mode. X Pro. That's a new watt. That's not bad at all. You know, if this were a flag pole, you'd say it's a pseudo bull flag. You got a bullish weekly. The X Pro looks very good. Ben, we're in trail mode. Flowers, we're short. Yeah, I just have these here to watch in pre-market, but there's no prints. WST, we're long in trail mode. Charter, we have a put spread, but it's also a Climo watch now, similar to the MOH. I'm just, beating down and building a base of support. So let me set an up alarm, actually. And so, man, this would be a good 30-minute high. I'll set an alarm at 269. And I already have an alarm there. Okay, good. Tango Hotel. It's a buy setup. Now, so I like this over Friday's high. Why? Well, it was actually a deep retracement. It traded over 2 bars highs. It shouldn't have closed with a doji. It should have closed stronger. But if it now takes out the day's high or Friday's high, then I like IART. Let's see, this one's also a better breakout. Or Tawi, see? See, this one is top of the range. It is. But you got bullish 3 sideways days at resistance. Yeah, Greg. Yeah, I did. So this one is better also than that Merc one. All right. See, look at CMG bottom right. It's now pulling in. So I'll just reset the alarm. IART alarm. CMG. Duolingo is a go if you get filled on the put spread. I don't chase on directionals in the first 5 minutes, particularly Mondays. But yeah, CMG, I love when they pull in a little bit at the open of the market, because then they got a trigger. So Duolingo a go. It filled. Let me see the price that I recommended. Yeah, I gave it to you all, and I gave a caution also about it being illiquid, but let me check myself right now. $305, 300. Yeah, the spreads are asinine. 40 cents by 190. Let's cancel that. Let's cancel that. I can't get that. I can't get subscribers some of that. I mean, they see the pattern. They can do it if they want on their own, but I'm not going to be responsible. Let's check the bull. All right, bull. I'm triggered though. Let's check. So bull. And the puts, I gave 2 trades. Oh, is that up? My alarm didn't go off, but yeah, we're already in it. Maybe I had a higher alarm. Let me look. Here's our bull, only $1 wide. So Greg, remember you asked me a few weeks ago? You said, do we ever get put spreads less than $5 wide? And I said, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen them over the years, not too often though.
Right, but I do that. It's mostly on, stocks under $20. But secondly, it's because you look at the quotes and it's like there's no reason to do 5 would be
Sure.
ridiculous. I'm
Yeah,
getting close to the same premium.
of
All
course.
right, so this one midpoint is 11. I'll go ahead and send my order out at 13. Order sent, no fill yet.
I like Meta's starting off with a bearish gap this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Microsoft on the edge here, intraday, but that could turn back up, should turn back up, I think.
I actually gave it as a call spread under all that mess.
Well, it's an uptrend, but yeah, I mean, if it's up above
last
week's high, should be fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that looks good.
Tesla's in the turn area, yet to be proven.
Well, that's a put spread in the letter over Friday's high. It's a buy setup and it's be hard to trigger. Netflix was also in there over the highs put spread. So I gave 3 FANG put spreads, 1 FANG call spread. And I bid I guess this was a last week watch. I guess I see that moving up on the 15. I had it in a thumbnail.
Anybody looking at YM, is that a real bar? Did it flip down there like that, man?
IART, let's wait 5-minute time. 1426.
It did, huh? Thank you, Alec. These ranges are crazy. Looking at these futures, I mean, you stay away for now.
Now I got filled on that bull put spread, but he's coming in hard. That's why I got filled. Flowers. And we're short this flowers. This is actually our only open short. So that's fine. Relative weakness.
ES 5-minute has a long setup But the SPY is like, don't do it. Be fast.
Verizon. All right, set 5 minute time, Verizon. This was a half lot buying calls, so then that actually.
Big mess.
I type of setup. Oh, let's do XCOM middle chart. Man, it's too whipping. $2 stock. WST coming in. There's neutral, but fine. Like wow from last week. Got killed on earnings, no bounce. Wow, Alex, remember your FSK I was watching? Still weak. And this hut, I like a little hut. 1, 2, 3. Bullish daily, weekly. That looks good. Ah, Duolingo's ripping. And I canceled the put spread, but that's a nice turn. If it were to close like this, that'd be directional for tomorrow. I'd say the two targets would be the 200 MA and then the declining 50. Remember those bullish IPO last week? That's not off to a good start. All right, Ether 5-minute low triggered as a call spread. Let's see what that looks like.